Welcome, everybody. Good old COTA, first road course race of the season. First road course race in a while that we're not getting stage breaks, stage cautions, which is definitely going to affect how this race goes because we're not going to get cars automatically getting bunched up, and this should, you know, um, the best cars should finish up front. They don't have to play the strategy game of whether to go for stage points or go for the win. Now they can just run their own race, and the old school strategy of road courses can come back into play. So excited to see that. Obviously, we had some practice data this week, and I want to go over that first before we get into lineups. First, though, shout out ifantasyrace.com. Always great info over there. Always check them out. But I am big this week on – I get that we have practice data, and I get that Tyler Reddick looked really fast. And, the typical guys look pretty fast. But I think this is a great week to kind of not go all in on practice data, especially with guys like Tyler Reddick, just because we talked to Nick Giffen and I talked about this on Stacking Denny's this week if you tuned in. Tire wear is going to come into play today. Tire wear came into play yesterday. That's why Tyler Reddick did not win the pole. So, yes, Tyler Reddick fires off super fast, but is he going to have that speed in the long run? And we'll get to the actual practice data in a little bit. But my mind is fully set on last year's guys that were fast on road courses are going to still be fast this year on road courses with like a few exceptions. Obviously Tyler Reddick was super fast. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll get to them in a little bit. I see a couple of them rolling in right now. Obviously Tyler Reddick was really fast, but he was also in a Chevy. And there's concern. I have major concerns with Toyota overall and fall off with their tires. And like I said, I think that's going to come into play. You can be fast for 5 laps. That's fine. And you can get a 4-second lead over those 5 laps. A fuel run is 28 laps, 26 to 28 laps. That's 5 times longer than a 5-lap average. So basically, like my mindset today, like I said, is I think people are going to be overreacting to like Tyler Reddick's speed. Overreacting to these 5-lap averages and not taking everything into account on who's actually good on these road courses and how we're going to actually build good lineups. But, some of the guys starting further back, we got, Chris Buescher starting 32nd. This is a total speed rankings heat chart from last year on road courses. Chris Buescher was 3rd. Chris Buescher is really good road course racer. I don't know if you guys know it, but over the last 15 road course races, second best average finish, only to Chase Elliott, is Chris Buescher on road courses. Obviously, he's not winning, but super fast. Or not super fast, but good finishes. That's all we need. Suarez is really good. Obviously, Chastain was really good last year. Michael McDowell, I think, is another great play today. He didn't, he had a couple issues in qualifying where he went off track and he had some issues. Still starting 20th, but McDowell is fully capable of a top 10. Christopher Bell, I love Austin Cindric today. Austin Cindric is one of my favorite plays on this slate. I think not enough people are going to be talking about him. I think he can actually win this race. I think he can lead a decent chunk of this race. Starting 3rd, I love Austin Cindric today. Chastain, is the obvious play, I believe. Right up there, Larson and him, place differential, starting 12th and 13th or wherever they start. Yeah, 13th and 12th. Chastain, defending winner of this race. He's going to be super fast. He was fast in practice. Allmendinger, always a contender here. Could have won this race last year in Cup Series. He won the Xfinity race last year. And then Larson, like I have some concerns about Larson. Like my projections are pretty high on him. And I did bet him to win today, earlier this week. But I don't think the speed is quite there. We didn't see Hendrick have the type of speed that they normally have at COTA last year. And I don't know if Larson's going to have that this time either. So with that being said, Hendrick, I think, Byron's obviously on the pole. He has really good – he had good speed in practice. I think Bowman has a really good car today as well, and I think Bowman can challenge for this win, actually. Like, I love Bowman in tournaments. I love that mid-8,000 range. When we get to lineups, I'll show you what I'm doing. But, the Cindrics and the Bowmans, I love them as tournament plays today. Let's look at – I'm gonna show get this on here. Make sure I'm getting the right one for practice data. Here we go. So once again, ifantasyrace.com, quick little cheat sheet, 5-lap average. Obviously, Tyler Reddick was super fast, and I could actually pull up the actual times here. Anyway, Chastain, Kyle Busch up there, Larson, Byron. Bubba Wallace was really surprising with speed today. I think he qualified too high to use him in DraftKings, but solid. Austin Dillon with a surprising, he's starting further back. Another guy that I don't think enough people are quite talking about in that price range. Everybody's gravitating to Almirola, obviously, because starting dead last. But got to remember, Almirola's not good at road courses, whereas Austin Dillon last year is actually like a mid-teens guy most of the way. Obviously has not been impressive this weekend overall, but he's one of those guys that can easily sneak in. What I really want to talk about, though, is down here, these guys that ranked 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd in 5-lap averages. And this is why I'm saying, kind of take these 5-lap averages with a grain of salt. These guys like Suarez, Allmendinger, and Cindric all have really good cars, and they had something messed up in their runs. So when you throw these guys up here, as well as, Logano didn't make a run, Briscoe didn't make a run, it should theoretically shuffle some of these guys back that are higher up. You got to think that Cindric would have been near the top of the 5-lap average rank. You got to think Allmendinger would have been near the top. So yeah, I'm just my biggest thing today is the hill that I'm dying on is I'm staying away. I'm not fully staying away, but I'm going super underweight on Tyler Reddick. Obviously, he's a very good road course racer. He won 2 of them. I could easily die on this hill. This could kill my day if they get that long run speed figured out in that car. I'm just seeing the tire fall off, and look at Nick's tweets about this at RotoDoc on Twitter. Tyler Reddick had not just bad fall off, like it was awful fall off with these tires. So again, 5-lap averages, yes, they tell us some data, but they don't tell us a fuel run, which is 5 times longer than a 5-lap average. So, but we're going to get to let's build some lineups here, and then I'm going to get to the questions too. Going to do my typical 20, if I, depending on how long this takes, but to me, this is so first question, are you playing any cash lineups today, thinking a dominator is needed, or are you comfortable using good drivers starting mid-pack to move off? I agree, pricing is soft. Here's the thing with a dominator. Let me pull up. So this is only 68 laps. This race is not long at all. And while here, let me pull up this sheet really quick so I can. Okay, 68 laps. If a driver leads all 68 laps, that's 17 place differential points. That's 17. Sorry, that's 17 DraftKings points. That could easily be picked up with place differential, and you don't have to rely on a guy absolutely dominating this race. So I don't think a dominator is needed in this race at all. I think some higher starters that are going to finish high are really good options for cash. And caveat here, I'm not a great DFS cash lineup guy. It's never been my thing. I've always been tournament, 100% tournament. But I do not think a dominator is needed, just because this race is not. It's so short. We're not getting the 500 laps that we get at like Bristol, so you don't need that dominator. It's actually it would require a Chase Elliott like domination, I think, for the downside to these guys starting up front and just moving back 3 or 4 spots and finishing 6th. I don't like that if we're thinking dominator strategy. So I'm not there on the dominator. You look at fastest laps. So obviously we have laps led as dominator points, and then fastest laps. Chastain had the most fastest laps here at COTA last year, 17. So it's not like these drivers are putting up a ton of fastest laps. The highest was Chase Elliott with 28 at Road America, and he led 36 laps. Reddick had 12 in that race. He led 16 laps. Allmendinger had 24 fastest laps at the Charlotte Road Course. He also led 24 laps in that race. So I don't think a dominator is needed. My projections have Reddick high enough that it's putting him in quite a few lineups. But I personally, if I'm just building, I would rather in this lineup right here, Chastain, Reddick, Blaney, Busher, McDowell, Almirola, I'd go off of Reddick and come down to Allmendinger and get those the place differential potential. You could also come up here and grab Kyle Busch, which I like a lot as well. I actually really like this lineup. Chastain, Kyle Busch, Blaney, Busher, McDowell, Almirola. So what sucks this week is we have, there's a lot of chalk. There's a lot of place differential potential, but, DraftKings rightfully, and here's a question. Do we have to use Almirola? DraftKings, unfortunately, this is worst case scenario for DraftKings and people building lineups, is they priced Almirola correctly at 5,800. He's not good at road courses. Eric Almirola is not good at road courses. He's priced correctly, but when he starts 39th at 5,800, and he could this is how bad Eric Almirola was at road courses last season. The only two drivers that had worse average speed rankings, total speed rankings than Eric Almirola last year were Corey LaJoie, who's also awful at road courses, and Cody Ware. That's how bad Eric Almirola was. He was slower than Harrison Burton. He was slower than Stenhouse, slower than Ty Dillon. Unfortunately, with the way these lineup builds are going, I think Almirola is an obvious play in cash. I can see moving up and grabbing like Justin Haley or even a Ryan Prix over Almirola. It's just tough because of the price that Almirola's at. But if you can, I don't know, like you're not going to come down and grab Harrison Burton off of Eric Almirola. You're not going to come down and grab Stenhouse off of Eric Almirola, in my opinion. Stenhouse isn't good at road courses. Harrison Burton is decent, but he starts 16th. LaJoie, not good at road courses. Todd Gilliland, and that's actually a question that came in here. Am I crazy for liking Todd Gilliland more than Eric Almirola? And I don't know. Is it a decent, pivot for the – I think Gilliland is at best, like a 28th place car. And I think Almirola is at best a 25th place car. So if you like the pivot, if you want the pivot to get off the Almirola chalk, because obviously Almirola is going to be significantly higher owned than Todd Gilliland, then yeah, I don't mind going that way from a strategy perspective. But as far as projected expectations for this race, I think Almirola is on average getting about 7 or 8 more points than Gilliland. But again, if Almirola blows a tire, or if something happens to Almirola, if he blows an engine, I like the pivot. I like where your head's at. I wouldn't I'm not taking all my lineups and just taking Almirola off of it and going Gilliland, because it's not like Gilliland's a great road course racer either. So would you still use Reddick in single entry or cash? Single entry, I honestly think single entry is the place to get off for Reddick. And like I said, I'm gonna die on this hill if I have to. I think Reddick significantly disappoints today. For what everybody's talking up Tyler Reddick. He's like plus 350 at some sports books to win this race. And I don't think enough people are taking into account the tire fall off. Like, yes, that obviously we only have that one metric for practice or from practice, and it's 5-lap average. And Reddick was super, super fast. Cannot deny that. He should, if but what if Byron goes Byron doesn't have a bad car? Here's the thing if you're relying on Reddick in cash or single, you're relying on him to lead a very good portion of the first part of that race and contend for the win. What if Byron goes out and leads the first 20 laps? What if Cindric goes out there and passes Reddick? Going off of practice data, Reddick should lead the first lap, and then continue to lead for however long. But how long until the tire fall off catches up to him? Because let me pull up Nick's tweet. Like I said, Rotodoc on Twitter, my podcast co-host. He was talking about the tire fall off and just how more significant it was for a few of these guys. Okay. So Cindric was faster than Reddick by 2.4 seconds on just laps 4 and 5 alone. Like, if that doesn't show you how much, like, the Penske Fords did not have that much fall off, and is another reason I like Penske today. And I really like Cindric. I can't state how much I like Cindric today. But I just, yeah, I'm, yeah, good. I'm glad I have another one on this hill with me. This is how I made, like, this is how I've both made a bunch of money in DFS and lost a bunch of money in DFS. Is this because I take stands like this that are, everybody is talking about Reddick, and when everybody is talking about a driver and there is a legitimate case to not like that driver, I'm 100% of the time I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to get off of, like, because believe it or not, Reddick's going to be chalk today. Brandon, I see you. We need to do a live stream together again sometime. I know I've been like hit or miss on mine, but it's always good to have another person in there and joining you. So hope you're doing well this year. I'm going to lock this lineup in quick while I have it. The point of this is to build lineups. So Chastain, Kyle Busch, Blaney, Buescher, McDowell, Almirola. And I'm actually going to do a similar one here. So Kyle Busch, Chastain, Blaney. Come here and grab Harvick, McDowell, and Gilliland. So very similar lineup here. Blaney, Chastain, Kyle Busch, Harvick, McDowell, and Gilliland. That gets you off that Almirola chalk a little bit. I'll be honest, these ringers that are in the race, Jensen Button and that Rick Ware car, which obviously it has Stuart Haas backing, and then Kimi Räikkönen. And he's in the Trackhouse car, and Trackhouse, they have speed. It's very intriguing. I don't know what to do. Like, I think they're going to be over-owned for where. I think there's a potential that they're going to be over-owned for where they should be. Like another one's Jimmy Johnson. Johnson. He's in that Legacy Motor Club, but like he hasn't shown any speed at all this weekend. Um, and and even like Kimi Räikkönen, his speed is about where he qualified. Now, is he going? Could he improve during the race and get up there in the top 15? Yes, but like I'm going. I still like McDowell so much more, but if McDowell ends up being chalk, then yeah, going down to Raikkonen or Button would definitely be a play. Um, I know in my 150, I'm gonna have exposure to those guys. Uh, I don't know if these hand builds I'm gonna end up on them just because there's just like you do not know. I was not impressed with Raikkonen at Watkins Glen last year. Now, obviously, COTA is different than Watkins Glen. He has significant COTA experience compared to minimal Watkins Glen experience before that race. But Jordan Taylor's another one that's, or is it Jordan? What's his name? I gotta look this up quick. Yeah, Jordan Taylor. He's been super fast. Like qualified fourth, been super fast. Obviously, he's in a Hendrick car. Like, I'd love to see that guy win it. That'd be awesome. But okay. Seems like winning this week will be about dodging bullets and hoping your drivers don't get bumped off, penalized for crossing the S's. How do you factor that in for lineups? You really can't. You can't even start to predict that or try. It's it's just not. It's not possible. Like I mean, last year at this race, I was winning $18,000 on the last lap, and it all went to shit because Kyle Busch went off track and Allmendinger got spun. I ended up with winning like 1,500. It was awful. um, so you just got to hope it doesn't happen. You can't predict it. You can't predict who's gonna, just like Indy Road Course. We can't predict the shit show that's happening there every year. We can just go with what we know and try not to focus on the things we can't or we don't know. Are Gibbs, Bubba, and McDowell pivots off the chalkier Almirola, Kez, and Harvick builds? I wouldn't consider. I think McDowell's going to be pretty chalky this week, to be honest with you. So I want to like Ty Gibbs. I want to like Bubba Wallace. I don't know if I can get there with Bubba starting 17th. Here's the thing with Ty Gibbs, and we've seen it all year. It's almost like he gets worse during these races, and that concerns me, especially because they're Toyotas. And again, I'm on the Toyota. I'm on the I don't like Toyotas at all today. So I definitely like McDowell. I'd probably go, if you're going to pivot in that range, go down to I'd go down to the ringers of like Raikkonen and Button, Austin Dillon. I do like Austin Dillon today. More than my projections do, that's for sure. By the way, all my content scrolling down here, rotoballer.com, use code Jordan, get 10% off. You get my algorithm predicted finishing order each week, my DraftKings projections each week, my picks each week for $90 for the whole year. It's a pretty good deal. Even though we're already, 6 races into the year. Checking out these questions here. All right. Thoughts on, okay, so Busch, Allmendinger, Chastain, Almirola, Gilly, Buescher. that's leaving a ton of cap on the table if you go Busher there. And if I was going to do a lineup like this, I wouldn't go to Busher. I'd come up and grab Cindric. But I think with this lineup, you're relying a lot on madness happening because Amarola and Gilliland aren't going to get up there where you need them to be. Just on racing alone. So that's definitely leaving. So if I was going to do this, okay, let me look at this further. If I was going to stick with Busher, Kyle Busch, Allmendinger, Chastain, Busher, I'd cut off Gilliland and come up and grab like Austin Dillon. That's what I'd do if I was going there. And then, then consider, or, take off, keep Gilliland on there and then jump up and grab no, I'd rather go Amarola and Austin Dillon there. If I was going to do a build like this, get you off the Blaney chalk. I like where your head's at there, getting off the Blaney chalk. But yeah, if I was going to do a lineup like this, that's what I'd do. I'd go the Austin Dillon route as opposed to Gilliland. Austin Dillon has significantly higher upside than Gilliland today. I'm actually going to enter this lineup. Chastain, Kyle Busch, Allmendinger, Busher, Austin Dillon, and Amarola. Yeah, I kind of just talked about him a little bit. Jordan Taylor. I want to see him do well. I don't think he's worth having any significant exposure today in DraftKings just because he starts fourth. You at that where he's priced at, he needs to finish top 5. And let's not forget that this is his first Cup Series start. He's never done this before. Yes, obviously he's very talented. Gets in that car and shows a ton of speed. And obviously, like it's a Hendrick car. They have the speed this week, but yeah. Figure. Any interest in Nagano? I actually do. The more I think about it, I like I said, I really like this price range right here. I love Cindric. Okay, if Penske doesn't have the tire fall off, Cindric's really good. Blaney's chalk, and why would you not like Logano? And I'm rhetorically asking this question, because like I'm not sitting here saying, John, why wouldn't you like Logano? But here's the thing with Logano: he's not going to go out there and win this race, but he can get a top 10. And is that good enough to at only 8,700? I think he could definitely get there. Looking back again, Ryan from My Fantasy Race made a good point earlier this week. He said the stage cautions dropping off could easily help Logano because he often screwed up his strategies in the stage era of road course racing. But yeah, I think Logano. I love Bowman in that range. I love Cindric, and like if you're going to go for place differential in that range, I really do like Logano. I didn't write him up or anything, but I do have an interest in Logano. Nick's in here. Hey, Nick. Yeah, I saw you. I think Briscoe's your Paul Menard pick of the week. We're very close on a lot of our stuff this week. Um, I get what you're saying with Briscoe for sure. I think those. I think the Stewart Haas cars just didn't have speed in qualifying, but they'll be there during the race. Like Harvick, always solid on road course races. Blaney's upside today, starting in the back. So it wasn't Blaney's fault that he started in the back. He flat spotted his tires going into turn one. So as far as I'm concerned, the only issue I have with Blaney is the potential for him to, get damage coming up through the field or the pit stall maybe not being great for him. But as far as I'm concerned, Blaney's upside is potential top 10 today. I think we've seen Blaney's perfectly capable of running well on road course races or road course tracks. But yeah, I don't. It's going to be tough getting off of him on DFS just because of that upside. Chastain or Reddick? Give me Chastain. I think the upside there is better. And like I said, I think everybody's going to be on Reddick this week, and I want to be on the other side of that. I want Chastain offers not only place differential potential starting 12th, he also has a little bit of dominator potential if he can get up there and lead. Like I said, Chastain had the most fastest laps in this race last year. He led the most laps in this race last year. So, yes, Reddick should lead the early portion of this race. If he gets around Byron, I think he's going to lead early. But like I said, I think the tire fall off is going to hurt Reddick today, and I don't see him being such a smash play as a lot of people are saying. But let's build another lineup here. I'm going to throw Allmendinger in there, and I'm going to throw Cindric in here. I'm just going to start clicking some random names and see where I get with this. So I had a couple lineups pre-made here. I want to make sure I talk about those. Okay. So I don't hate this at all. Allmendinger, Cindric, Bowman, Blaney, Harvick, Almirola, and obviously you could take Harvick if you don't trust Harvick. Come down and grab Keselowski. Come down and grab Buescher. But let's go down here and grab McDowell. And I still think I still have this Austin Dillon in my head. I don't think enough people are going to be talking about, because Kyle Busch obviously has a really good car. Austin Dillon, I'd rather go with this. I'd rather go with him over Ty Gibbs. Gives you an extra 300 to play with if you wanted to switch anything around. Obviously, a little risky here going 3 guys starting top 7. So between Bowman, I'm going to take Bowman off of this, and I am going to go Logano here. Get those Penske Fords there to place differential, and then I do think Allmendinger or Cindric can dominate this race. So I'm going to lock this one in. Go Blaney, Cindric, Allmendinger, Logano, McDowell, Austin Dillon. Is Suarez similar to Cindric? Yeah. I mean, Trackhouse dominated this race last year. They both look good in practice. Suarez obviously has improved significantly on road courses since 2-3 years ago and beyond that. Starting 5th, you're going to need him to lead though, so it's similar to Cindric. I'm playing Cindric because I think he can be I think he can go out and lead this race early and challenge for the win at the end. So that's why I love Cindric as a tournament play, even starting third. Um, you know, and it gets you off that Reddick chalk. Let's look at this. Larson, Blaney Logano, Harvick, McDowell, Dillon. Or we can do Chastain for Larson, yeah. I don't hate it, but I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do this real quick off of Harvick and go to Briscoe, just like Rotodoc was talking about earlier. I think I like actually what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna take Larson, go down to Chastain, and instead of Briscoe, I'm going Bowman. Yeah, I like that. I think Bowman has a really good card today. So lock this one in. Feel like I have super speedway type salary left over after half my lineups. No, I completely agree. It's super soft pricing this week, and I don't think you should be leaving 5,000 on the table here, but like you look at this range right here: Harvick starting 29th, Keselowski starting 30th, Buescher 32nd. All could like legitimately challenge or be in the optimal. They're not bad road course racers. Further down, like Austin Dillon, 28th. But I do think you need the good balance up top of these guys that are going to challenge for the win. Like you still need the Allmendingers in there. You still need the Chastains in there, the Kyle Bushes, Larsons, Reddicks. So yeah, I don't think you need to use all cap this week for sure. Even though I think I've done it most of these lineups. Buescher or Keselowski? Let me check. I'm pretty sure I have Buescher pretty much higher than Kez. Yeah, I do. Buescher for sure. Starts further back, I believe, and he's just overall better at road courses. So let's do. Got to do a Reddick lineup. So let's do Chastain, Reddick. We're going to throw Blaney in there. Excuse me. McDowell. Jump down and grab Almirola. It gets you in that range. You can get Harvick, Keselowski, Buescher. Whatever you want to go with here. Let's throw Buescher in there just for fun. And I was hoping to get up to Haley. This also, like, you could switch out, go Larson here instead of Chastain. Just because I don't have a Larson lineup yet or a Reddick lineup, I'm going to go with this one: Reddick, Larson, Blaney, McDowell, Almirola, Buescher. I saw your second comment here, Nick. You said Almirola, not Blaney. So, or Larson. What am I looking at? Chastain, Briscoe, Harvick, Bowman, Cindric. Yeah, I like this already. I see, and that's like if you want to get even more off the chalk here, there's enough to get Haley over Almirola. which I like. I mean, this definitely gets you off a lot of the chalk. This is a pure tournament lineup right here. If you would go Chastain, Briscoe, like you're still getting good guys, but you're staying away from Reddick, you're staying away from Blaney, and you're staying away from Almirola. Like as a roster that you're differentiating yourself, this is a really good one, I think. And yeah, thank you, Nick. I'm going to put this one um, into the Chrome Horn today. Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman. Currently have Chastain, Larson, Blaney, Busher, Gibbs, Almirola. I don't like Gibbs. I'd probably go down and grab Austin Dillon instead of Gibbs. Yeah, that's what I'd do with that. It also gives you a little bit more room if you wanted to switch things up. Gives you an extra 500. If you wanted to go off of Busher and jump up to Harvick or something. But yeah, that's a good point. Off Reddick and Blaney enough. Yeah. Yeah. You know me, though. I like being super, super aggressive and hoping for chaos. So, I'm going to do a lineup with, I feel like I don't have enough Kyle Busch. I have a decent amount of Kyle Busch, but not enough Kyle Larson. So, let's start off with Allmendinger. Let's go. Let's throw Bowman on there. I'm going to throw Austin Dillon on here just for the time being. Get an idea of how much cap space. I want to go McDowell. Okay. 9,100 left. So this line, elaborate on not liking Gibbs. Results have never been there. Not only this year, but even last year. He made 3 road course starts last year. 17th at Indy, which Indy's always a shit show. 26th at Watkins Glen, 22nd at Roval. Add that into the fact that I think that the Toyotas fall off way too much, and that's going to really hurt them today. And him starting, where does Ty start? 17th. I don't see him getting there for a top 15. So, yeah, I guess I'm curious what you're seeing, because I'm only seeing him be good in the Xfinity series, and last year. Let me see this. COTA last year started on the pole, led one lap. So yeah, I can guarantee even in my 150 lineups, I doubt that I have more than a few percent of Ty Gibbs. I'm just not there. Where was I going with this? Okay. Before anybody, I don't think going Byron Reddick in the same lineup is smart at all. I don't particularly love this lineup, but I don't know. I don't hate it. Allmendinger, Bowman, Blaney, Cindric, McDowell, Austin Dillon. An interest in a build using Kez, Busher, Harvick, Briscoe. Well, let's look at it. Busher, Harvick, Kez. You can go the all Ford route here. Do something like that. Do a Blaney, Cindric. I don't hate it, but from a pure place differential perspective, I don't hate it. But I don't like that I don't see any of these guys challenging for the win outside of Cindric, and like I said, for Cindric to work out this week, starting third, I think he's going to need to lead a decent amount of laps, which is nowhere guaranteed. So, if you didn't want to go the Cindric Blaney route, and you instead wanted to go, I think the best lineup builds this week are going to be the ones that have at least 2 or 3 drivers in them that can legitimately win this race. And it's not that hard to get into a build like that where you have, that many. Because even if you went, this gives you plenty to play with. Now this is interesting. Do a little Bowman Byron. Bowman Byron, Briscoe, Harvick, Kez, Busher. I think Byron can lead a good chunk of laps. I think Bowman can challenge for the win. So I don't particularly hate this lineup. Definitely get you off a lot of the chalk, but yet you're still on the place a good amount of place differential chalk. So I am going to actually run this lineup because it intrigues me, and it's $4 for Chromehorn. So why not have a little fun? Gilliland, McDowell in place of Gibbs, Almirola. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like McDowell a lot today. Hate Gibbs. And then I think Gilliland and Almirola are somewhat similar. Almirola has a little bit better upside, but he's just not good at road courses at all. Hello, Joe. What do you think about drivers starting from the back and shoot for place differential instead of dominators up front? Yeah, this I think the best way to build this week is to have 2 or 3 guys that can win this race in your lineup and then go place differential the rest of the way. There's plenty of place differential potentials this week. And even guys like Chastain, like you get place differential with a guy like Chastain, a guy like Larson. Like it's not as much as someone like Ryan Blaney, but yeah. I'm not getting caught up in dominator points at all this week, which is why I'm so low on Tyler Reddick. Low on Reddick. Like I can see where Byron's there. The guy, like if I'm going to pick a guy up front, I'm going to take someone like an Austin Cindric, and that's what I'm going to do if I'm going up front. Should have started with Cash Core. I keep leaning towards is Chastain, Larson, Blaney, Busher. Okay, so then you're saying McDowell, Gilliland with that. If you wanted to go just a little bit different than that, and you didn't want to do Gilliland, and you really wanted Almirola, you could come up and grab Almirola, and then just instead of Larson, come down to Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch has a better car than Larson. Only starts 4 spots higher up, but I think Kyle Busch has a better car than Larson today. So I'm going to use this lineup actually. Put this one in. Blaney, Chastain, Kyle Busch. Oops. Yeah, no problem. Thanks you guys for tuning in. If you have any more questions, just throw them out there. Or if you have, a lineup build that you're thinking of, I'll throw it on the screen and break it down and see what we can do here. Let's see where I'm at with ownerships and where I want to be. Looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lineups in so far in this Chrome Horn. I'm at 30% McDowell. I only have 5% Larson. I only have 5% Reddick. I don't mind that, but I only have 10% Cindric, so I want to get more Cindric in there. 15%. Okay. So let's do a Chastain, Allmendinger, Cindric type of build. Come down here and grab someone like an Austin Dillon. Throw McDowell in there. Gets me to Kez or Busher. If I didn't want Cindric, I could come down to Bowman. It would get me to Harvick. Harvick, Kez, Busher. I think Harvick and Busher have more likely upside than Kez does here, even though Kez is starting 30th. But obviously Busher starting 32nd and Harvick starting 29th is basically all the same thing. But just for fun, let's throw Kez in here. So Chastain, Allmendinger, Bowman. Like I said, I think you need 2 or 3 drivers that can win this race. I think those 3 drivers can compete for the win. Austin Dillon, I think, is a mid-teens upside finishing potential, which not enough people are talking about. He was like, I don't want to overreact to practice, but Austin Dillon was 11th in 5-lap average. So McDowell always solid, and then Keselowski definitely like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Chastain, Allmendinger, Bowman. Like I said, I do like Cindric there too if you want to use Cindric. Austin Dillon, and I'm going to do the same lineup just with Cindric as well. Keselowski and McDowell. Let's see where if I can get off McDowell there as well. I want to see what that could look like. Chastain, Allmendinger, Cindric. You grab Austin Dillon. McDowell down to Raikkonen. Get you to Harvick, like same exact position if you wanted. Yeah, you could do just because I don't have any Raikkonen and I have so much McDowell right now. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go. I am gonna go Harvick. So I'm gonna do Chastain, Allmendinger, Cindric, and you can go like I have no problem and I might do this exact line, but like the Harvick, Busher, Kez, just do 3 lineups. Do all 3. I don't hate doing that. I do that quite often actually with these 20 entry contests. Who am I missing here? Kevin Harvick. Okay. Got some questions that I'm missing. Oops. Putting Haley over Almirola in a good amount of lines. I don't mind that at all. Like I said, Almirola is not good, and Haley he's in that spot where let me check something quick. Okay, let's say Justin Haley finishes 20th. All right, so let's just compare these two. Justin Haley finishes 20th. That is 26 DraftKings fantasy points, base fantasy points, not taking into account laps led, fastest laps, or anything, which Justin Haley's probably not going to get. That's a 20th place finish. In order for Almirola to get to 26 fantasy points, starting 39th, he needs 2, 3, 4. A 28th place finish gets him to 25 fantasy points. So he outscores Haley running 20th when he finishes 27th. So think of it that way. Can Eric Almirola reasonably run 27th today, and you're not relying on him having an issue for the chalk not to hit when comparing Haley and Almirola? Or do you have the upside? Like obviously there's upside with Justin Haley. We've seen him, compete mid-teens. And again, I'm being quite conservative here, saying 20th place finish out of Haley. But the only reason I'm mentioning this is because you said a good amount of lines, which I assume is a significant number. Now, obviously, if you want to take a stand, more power to you. I do it all the time. But just think about that. Do the math a little bit on what's actually needed for Haley to outscore Almirola in the same, just head to head. So I'd like the play. I don't love Haley today. That's my only. If Haley was a little bit better, and I had a little bit more confidence in him, I would be like, yes, that is a great play. But I just wouldn't go too crazy on that. I like it. I just wouldn't go too crazy on it. Yeah, that's the tough part. Like I said, Almirola, they priced Almirola 100% correctly this week because he's not good at road courses. But when he starts dead last, literally cannot score negative points, and you only need him to get into the 27th, 28th for him to score mid-20s fantasy points. At 5,800, you can't It's so hard not to take Amarola today. Just tuning in. Apologies to recover this, but any single entry thoughts for today? Yes, my main single entry thought for the day is no Reddick. I am off the Reddick train. I don't see him having the long run speed, and while I do think he can challenge for a top five, I think people are blowing out of proportion his 5 lap average rank. Um, Yeah, people are probably gonna get sick of hearing this, but this is like I'm on the hill. I've cemented myself on this hill. Uh, let's not overreact to a 5 lap average in practice when the fuel run at this race is 5 times longer. So Bowman, Wallace, Dillon, Eric Jones, Byron, Bush. What do you think? I don't like Eric Jones, but I'm gonna put this in here just so I can visualize this in the lineup. Byron, Bowman. Yeah, I'm not like I honestly don't like this at all. Austin Dillon, Eric Jones. I don't know why you'd leave that much cap on the table. Like if you're gonna go here, I'd jump up and grab a Briscoe. I'd jump up and grab Harvick if I'm gonna go this high. But I don't like Bubba Wallace at all today. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but Toyota's, I'm just not loving it. Bubba Wallace, not great at road course races. Yes, he showed decent short run speed, 6th and 5 lap average. So did his teammate. But unless Toyotas have done something significant to give them long run speed, I just don't see it working out. So I think you can work with this base build. I'm not in love with going Byron Bowman, but I don't particularly hate it, So I'd probably just take Bubba Wallace off. I'd jump down and grab. I'm just going to throw Amarola in there now, just see what kind of cap we're looking at. 95. I mean, you can come up here and then grab Blaney if you want. You could also come here if you didn't want to go Amarola, and as we were just talking, go Haley. But yeah, I'm not on Bubba Wallace. I'm not on Eric Jones today. I don't see Eric Jones. 7,400 starting eighth is just not. I'd rather go down to McDowell. I just don't see. I think McDowell or Jones is going to need. He's going to need to maintain and probably improve a little bit on his position there, starting eighth, and I don't see that happening. I don't see him either. But I don't hate this lineup whatsoever. This Kyle Busch, Byron Bowman, Blaney, Austin Dillon, Haley. I don't hate it. Again, not in love with not in love with taking the guys starting super high up, but Byron's an interesting one. And then you have the space there then to go Chastain too if you didn't want to go Kyle Busch. So I'm going to do both of these. I'm going to go Kyle Busch. Excuse me. I need to find where I'm even. Bowman, William Byron, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon. I'm ending up on a lot of Austin Dillon today. And then Blaney. Put that one in there. Yeah, so then you could do the Chastain, Byron, Blaney, Bowman. Dillon Haley. Could also throw Allmendinger in there. Instead of Blaney, go Cindric if you wanted to. Or stick to Byron, maybe go Larson in there. Yeah. Okay. So Blaney, Kyle Larson, Cindric, Byron. I'm gonna come back to this and see what we can do here with this. I like this. I'm liking this build right here. Austin Dillon, Almirola. Larson, Byron, Blaney. Let's go Bowman there. I'm actually going to go Prix here. I don't have any Ryan Prix. Heavy on the Chevys and Hendrick here. Blaney, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, William Byron. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go Allmendinger, and I'm going to go Kyle Busch instead of Larson there. So I'm going to go Kyle Busch, Allmendinger, Bowman, Blaney, Ryan Prix, Austin Dillon. I'm actually going to take Austin Dillon off. Actually, screw it. I'm going Austin Dillon. I told you guys I'm heavy on Austin Dillon today, which is terrifying, but I'm sure I won't regret it. Never do, right? But, going back to that, you could also then do Chastain, Allmendinger, Blaney, Bowman. This will likely give you enough to – I'm going to stick with Prix here and then go Austin Dillon. Prix, Austin Dillon, Bowman, Allmendinger, Chastain, Blaney. Okay, get to some more comments here in a second. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more lineups to build for this Chrome Horn. Okay. Any driver that drives a Chevrolet is my choice for the victory in today's race. I 100% agree. I think Chevy wins this race, and I think it's going to be a very Chevy heavy race. Chevy heavy. Never have issue, and you've probably done pretty well this year by doing that because, man, he's sucked this year. Late to the party, so if you mentioned this, my bad. I'll be looking to get overexposure to Blaney. Unless he has an issue, he's likely to be optimal. If he's 50% owned, you can still get a good edge. Yeah, right now I'm 10 of my 15 lineups that I have built during this stream include Blaney. When you have you look at my projections this week, rotoballer.com, use code Jordan, get 10% off, get everything for $89.99. You take my projections this week, you throw them into optimizer, you say, I want 150 lineups. Ryan Blaney shows up 150 times, 100% of the time. So me, I'm a very aggressive DFS player, and to me, Blaney is an absolute slam dunk, and I agree with you. I don't see him not. I don't see him not being in the optimal today. You know, like obviously he could have issues, but you cannot. You, I don't think you can build like take a significant stand on DFS assuming a guy's going to have issues. So Truex used to be so good at road courses. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't get it, and I think part of it is Toyota. I think Toyota has really fallen off at road courses, especially last year. You know, but man, yeah, Truex. It used to be a few years ago. It was Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. Like Truex isn't even in the conversation anymore. It's not even close. So, thoughts on Daniel Suarez? Similar to my thoughts on Austin Cindric. I think Suarez, obviously he starts top 5. He has a good car. Trackhouse brought good cars again this year. They have this place figured out. Could definitely see Suarez leading a bunch. I'm definitely going to have to up my Suarez exposure. Like if I like Cindric that much, I need to have similar or I need to bump up my exposure on Suarez at the same time because he could go out and he could be the one that leads early in this race as opposed to Cindric or someone. So yeah, if you haven't heard my talks on Cindric this week, I really like Cindric, really like Bowman on this slate, and I like being underweight on Tyler Reddick. Any locks that apply? See, I'm just not good at cash. Like I'm so bad at cash. But to me, it'd be Blaney would be my lock probably. Like it's very difficult for me not to build a lineup with Blaney today. But yeah, I'm not good at cash at all. I will admit that to the day I die. I'm just not good. I actually for most of my articles, before I went to Roto-Bowler, I just didn't even put cash picks in there because I'm not good. I'm not good at it. My brain doesn't work that way when it comes to DraftKings. I'm just not. McDowell to the rear, good, because you're right. Some people may panic off of him. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Still like McDowell going to the rear. Yeah, I think. Yeah, 100%. Is McDowell going to the rear? Is he even worth playing? Yeah, he's still. If Blaney's if Blaney's the nuts today, what does this change about McDowell? It's like maybe it increases of his chances of not doing well that much. But like I said, if people are going to overreact to him going to the rear, I don't see it being an issue. Do we really think we're not going to get cautions today? So, not this news of McDowell. Does not change my mind at all. Yep. Heavy on Austin. I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm like, oh, like because I got it in my head when I was prepping for this, that I was going to be heavy on Austin Dillon, and I'm even heavier than I thought I would be. But I like it. I just like it. So if I if I die, I die on Austin Dillon at a road course. But I'll tell you what, guys, he's so improved, and I didn't see if he messed up in qualifying, but I want to say that he messed up in qualifying, and that's why he's starting so far back. Because I guess he wasn't that fast in practice either, but his 5-lap average was decent in practice. So I don't know. I like Austin Dillon a lot more than my projections like Austin Dillon this week. So these lineups that I'm hand building are heavy on AD. Yeah, Custer came from the rear pretty easy yesterday. Yeah, I'm not seeing starting at the rear being a huge factor. So good question here, Andrew. Do you think the drivers who tested COTA have an edge? So Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric tested at COTA. Love Austin Cindric today. I think Kyle Busch has a really good car today. And, obviously Tyler Reddick has the short run speed. So I think all three of these guys, yes, I think they have a little bit of an edge. I wouldn't call it significant, but I think that it definitely helps them a little bit. And, if you guys subscribe to my Rotoballer package, you know what the algorithm says when it comes to these three drivers: Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric, and Kyle Busch. It's I love Austin Cindric today. Raikkonen, yeah, I don't like. I want to enjoy believe in the upside, but it's so difficult for me. And this is why I struggle, to be honest with you. This is why I struggle with rookies a lot when it comes to DFS, because I have such a numbers-based brain that I need something to make sense. And when a guy has one start and he wrecked out of it at COTA, and I think he ran 15% of the laps in the top 15 or something. Obviously, the pieces are there for Raikkonen to have a good race today, and he could go up there and finish, mid-teens. Will that get him into the optimal at 7,000 starting 22nd? It's borderline, but I don't hate Raikkonen at all. I just don't. I'm not going to have a lot of them. I can guarantee that. Thoughts on Logano? I think Logano is going to be his upside's about an 8th place. So starting 15th, mid 8,000s. Obviously, for that to work out, you're going to need for Logano to get in the optimal. You're either going to need a really good performance, an unexpected performance out of Logano, finishing top 5, or you're going to need the chalk place differentials, the Harvicks, Keselowski's, the Buschers, those guys to not do well for Logano to get there. So I do like being overweight on Logano. I don't love him enough to be super overweight. If I'm going to be overweight in that range, it's going to be on Bowman. It's going to be on Cindric. But as I said, Rotodoc, Nick Giffen, my podcast co-host, he made a very good point on Twitter about Penske, and they did not have the fall off in practice, which if that stays true for the race, Logano could outperform. But at the same time, do they have the actual speed? There's a big difference between not having fall off and having speed and not having fall off. So, you look at 5-lap average. Blaney was 14th. Logano did not make a 5-lap run, and Cindric's was all messed up. So we don't have, we have what Blaney had, 14th. So I think upside on Logano is top 10. I think he's a decent DFS pivot, but I wouldn't go super, super heavy on him. Jordan Taylor, yeah, I'm excited to see what this kid can do. I'm not going to have – I might have – with my 150 lines, I could have, 5% Jordan Taylor. But I'm more of I'm going to watch and root for him in the actual race, but I'm not going to be having my actual money on him in DFS with him starting 4th. I think he starts too high up, and I'm not sure he can get up there and lead, which is, you're going to need a decent chunk of laps led and a top 5 finish for him to get there at 7,500. And I thought my computer asked a question on its own until I noticed the username. That's fine. There's no space in the other one. Ty Dillon to be optimal? No. I can see how that's kind of enticing at 4,700, but let me pull up Ty Dillon real quick. Like, I'd be surprised if he finishes top 30. So Larson versus AJ. Honestly, give me AJ in that $700 discount and more room to work with. I think Larson. I'm not convinced that Larson has the speed. I don't think he has COTA quite figured out. Just based on last year and then like practice this year and what we've seen so far, I think Larson's probably going to be like a seventh place guy today without a bunch of luck. And obviously he has the Hendrick car, but that's just where my gut has Larson. So I think Allmendinger can win this race. So having the extra 700 to work with, obviously you're losing 6 place differential potential right there with going Allmendinger over Larson. But my gut says Allmendinger. My projections say Larson by about 5. So almost wrote Button as Paul Menard pick for the week. That would be I could yeah, like I can't take a stand on these guys. The Buttons, the Raikkonens. Obviously, you have a little bit of concern with Button being a Rick Ware team, but it's basically a Stewart Haas car. We saw Joey Hand last year in this car run relatively well to what he should have been, but I'm pretty sure both of the times Hand had mechanical issues, if I remember right. So, yeah, Jensen Button, again, definitely worth exposure, and gonna have 22nd in practice flags. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to Nick's flags metric, but it's very cool. It compares drivers based on how they are running when they are running healthy versus everybody else versus the field. So let me switch this screen right here. I'll pull up Nick's tweet on this. Definitely have to give him the credit for all of this. 1 second. Okay, so you look at here's his flags metric when it comes to speed here. Cindric, Reddick, Chastain, Logano, Larson. Obviously, Cindric's only a 3-lap sample, Logano only a 4-lap sample. But you come down here, and this is where it gets interesting. Like guys like Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, better than definitely better than expected. And like you said, Button there in 22nd. So great metric to definitely pay attention to. And obviously we're looking at very small sample sizes here, so remember that. But give Nick a follow on Twitter if you don't already. I'm assuming if you're tuning into this live stream, you know who Nick is. You know that we do the Stacking Denny's podcast. But if you don't follow him already, please do so. Always tweets out a bunch of great information. I think some of the ringers have an advantage today because they don't have to worry about stage breaks. I don't know. I feel like the ringers, like when we had the stage breaks, they weren't racing for points, so why wouldn't they race for the win? So I'm not sure that that's an advantage that's going to come to fruition. Do any of the Toyotas stand out besides Reddick to you? No. To me, no. I don't. I'm not expecting Toyota to be very good today, and that includes I think Reddick's going to be there. I think he's top 5 car, but again, I'm on the low on Reddick. COTA testers. Why? The one that I read only said Busch, Reddick, and Cindric. So Blaney, Amarola, Prix. Okay. Gilliland and Amarola together, or Amarillo. Uh, I don't see the need in doing that. I think you can build a much more balanced lineup and not have to go with both of those. They both have, to me, they're basically the same guy this week. Amarola has a little bit better upside. He has a little bit better equipment. Neither are good at road course races, and they're like, their ceiling is like. I would be shocked if Todd Gilliland, without attrition, finished better than 28th. I'd be shocked without attrition if Almirola finished better than 25th. So, um, yeah, I don't think you have to put them both together in a lineup. Thoughts on Byron and 50% and 20 max, and how much Reddick would you have? I wouldn't go Byron 50%. I'm I'm currently I'm going to shoot for like 15 to 20 with Byron and 20 max, and Reddick probably in that same amount. Uh, Probably maybe even just 15 with Reddick. I'm I'm not big on either. Like, I'm definitely, as I've explained many times, I'm pretty low on Reddick today, and Byron. Um, just remember, this is a very short race. This is only 68 laps, so try not to get caught up in the uh, the dominator aspect of this. Especially, yes, Byron is eventually going to have a really good race at a road course, but let's not forget that this guy's never had a top five at a road course ever in the Cup Series. All hell breaks loose in turn one. That would be. We can. Do you remember was it the first Charlotte Roval race where it was turn one? It was a restart. Everything went to hell, and they tried to say that all like the entire field overdrove the corner. When you listen to radios, it was there was oil on the track, but for some reason NASCAR just didn't want to say that. But that'd be funny. Turn one. It just let's look at this. So you got Dinger, Blaney, Cindric, Bowman. You know I'm liking this already because you got Cindric and Bowman on there. Austin Dillon, McDowell. I can get behind this for sure. And just to be a little different, because I feel like I have so much McDowell. Come down and grab Raikkonen. And then I'm going to go Chastain over Allmendinger on this. Let's keep Allmendinger on there. Actually, sticking with Chastain. And I know I like Cindric, but I am going to go Logano here. So, Chastain, Blaney, Logano, Bowman, Raikkonen, A. Dillon. Okay. Busch over Truex, yep. Double check actually, they're really close in my projections. Closer than I thought they'd be. But I'd still go Buescher over Truex. Rest of the testers lineup was just filling. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. This is a good question. Suarez, Allmendinger, Cindric, okay in the same lineup. To me, that's a little too aggressive for me. But I've obviously made lineups that have Allmendinger, Cindric, and Bowman in it. So that's kind of hypocritical of me, huh? I like that lineup. I like that a lot. Could also go Logano if you didn't want to go Bowman here, but I really like Bowman. I'm gonna go or Logano on this quick though. So we got Allmendinger. I want to bump up my Suarez exposure. Allmendinger, Suarez, Logano, Blaney, Michael McDowell. I need to stop putting lineups with Austin Dillon in it. Thoughts on Christopher Bell? Similar to the rest of the Toyotas. I'm pretty sure Bell fell off the most of the Toyotas. So $9,300, starting 14. I think there's just so many better options out there than Christopher Bell. I likely won't have I haven't had a single lineup so far with Christopher Bell in it. So Lucas. Yes. Chastain, Briscoe, Harvick, Suarez, Bowman, Prix. I do like that. Yeah, I like that. Lock that one in. Who am I missing here? Chastain, Briscoe, Kevin Harvick, Daniel Suarez. Sorry, guys, I'm keeping. I keep a spreadsheet so I can know my exposures here. Do you expect to see drivers on different strategies today? Absolutely, because I think tire wear is going to come into play, and I think teams might try to get cute with their strategies and maybe try to get the timely cautions and stuff like that. So I don't know. I 100% don't know what to expect today with these with no stage cautions coming into play. But I think it definitely is going to end up the best guys up front. Chastain, Blaney, Busher, Cindric, Dillon, McDowell. Still leaves you 800 to play with. I'm gonna switch that out to Suarez there, and I'm gonna take Austin Dillon off and come down to Prix because you have 1,000 to work with, which you can then you could take Busher off and get Bowman or Logano, or you could take McDowell off and get someone like a Harvick or a Kez. I'm gonna do I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna go Kyle Busch instead of Chastain too here. Let me think about this quick. I don't want to like Ryan Priest, and I'm probably gonna regret this, but never mind. I'm going Chastain over Kyle Busch. Buescher, Suarez, Harvick, Priest. Okay. If Austin Dillon brings it home for us today, I'll never judge a stupid cowboy hat again. Be nice. Be a perfect day. How much Chastain and Kyle Busch should you have in 20 max percentage wise? Right now I'm at 60 Chastain, 30 Kyle Busch. I'm all right there. I think that's a little too heavy on Chastain, to be honest with you. But I'm fine with 30 Kyle Busch. I like that. One more lineup here. I am gonna grab another go Busch here, and I'm actually gonna go off Chastain and get up to Larson. So I'm gonna go Larson, Reddick, Blaney, Almirola, Chris Buescher, and Michael McDowell. That is 20. Uh, 100%. 100% locked on Blaney in the 20 max playing for first. I fully support that aggressiveness. I do that from time to time as well. I support that this week. Keselowski or Buescher, give me Buescher. Yep, give me Buescher. Yeah, got my 20 in. Thank you guys for joining. If you have any more questions, throw them in quick, and I'll get to them. Other than that, ready to roll with 55% Austin Dillon in the chrome horn. I'm sure I will not regret that one bit. Oh man. So recap, my highest, I just did the 20 lineups in the chrome horn. Just my initial thoughts here. When it comes to, I definitely, I need more Suarez if I'm going to, like, the more lineups I build, I'm going to have more Suarez exposure. I only went 15% on him here. I went 10% Reddick. I went 15% Byron, 70% Blaney, 60% Chastain, 55% Austin Dillon. Ended up on 45% of McDowell and Bowman, 35% with Allmendinger and Buescher, Kyle Busch at 30%, Almirola at 30%, Harvick 25%, Cindric, Logano, Priest 20%. And yeah. Let's see here. $25%. I like that. Yeah. I'm at 35. So I think Dinger's going to be really good here today. As much as I don't like the guy, I think he is. So could have won this race last year. Obviously won the Xfinity race yesterday. Definitely like him as a pivot there off of Reddick and Byron. So, all right. Not seeing any more questions. I'll give it about another minute here. And then I'm going to hop off here, get the rest of my lineups done, and then get ready to enjoy this race. First road course race of the season. Excited about that. But Man, living and dying by Austin Dillon today is not what I had planned, but hey, we roll with it. We roll with it. All right, getting off here. Rotoballer.com. Use code Jordan. Get 10% off. Get all of my content for $89.99 the rest of the year. Yeah, I only have 20% Cindric in these 20 lineups I did on this stream. I only ended up at 20% Cindric. Still, I mean, I like him to be. I'll probably be in like that low 20s% when I do my 150 lineups. So I'm all right with that. I think he's going to be like 11% owned today. So I'm perfectly fine with 20% Cindric. All right. Thank you guys, and see you the next time I do one of these lives. This one got really good viewership. Nice, man. You're so close. Had Almiron instead of Busher. Same 5 drivers first. Yeah. Let's hope so. I don't get into that contest just because the payout structure is so bad. I throw in like a couple darts, but I don't get too crazy with it. So I play the mini max, and then I usually stick to high dollar if I'm gonna put any decent money into these. But good luck, everybody. Hopefully we'll win today. Hopefully this is a good race, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks.